Hello, hello. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Movie Night here on the Anorax Entertainment Podcast. Tonight, we are talking about the new movie musical, Dear Evan Hansen. I'm very excited to dive into that today. I am your host, Samee Ramirez. And today, I'm joined, as always, by my host, Dom Martino. And also, we have a special guest, Jose Espinel, joining us today. Dom, Jose, how are you guys doing?
I'll let Jose go first. He's new.
All right, so, doing good. I'm glad to be, a special guest on this episode here. Obviously, as has been posted, I went to the pre-screening and did the non-spoiler review to this movie, and I'm excited to hear what you guys' opinions are on this movie and dive into this.
Yeah, first time on movie night, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
You got to do a movie night. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
No. Hey, thanks, Sammy. I'm good. Ready for this? Ready to talk about it? Have a lot of thoughts, so let's get into it.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if I want to give my thoughts first or I want to hear your guys' thoughts first. I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts first. So Jose, I've heard yours before, so why don't you give give the people a reminder if they don't know how did you feel overall? Just overall quick thoughts about the movie.
Well, yeah, and like I said in the non-spoiler review, a lot of people cried at the pre-screening, standing ovations, the whole sorts. Talked to some of the critics that were there. They enjoyed it. And I just, the experience being there, watching it before it came out was great and very emotional movie, in my opinion. Like I've said, I'm not really that into musicals, but this one was definitely a different experience, especially with the soundtrack in this movie. A lot of the songs really hit in the heart. Overall pretty cool experience for me.
Heck yeah. All right, Dom.
All right, where do I begin? So you know me, Sammy. I'm a pretty easy please when it comes to musicals, especially as of late. I even like Greatest Showman. And nobody liked that movie. Well, a lot of people like that movie, but I'm in that crowd of, I guess, critic that like that movie because a lot of the critics bashed it. I really love Greatest Showman. I like La La Land. I mean, I love La La Land. I love In the Heights. I mean, everything. I really love everything.
Also, those first two, Pasek and Paul musicals, La La Land and Greatest Showman.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Okay.
And you showed me that one for the first time too. We watched it together.
The Greatest Showman. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
So I'm a very easy please when it comes to musicals, and bear that in mind. And also, I don't know shit about the source material. Really, I don't. I mean, so bear that in mind also. But I was very disappointed by this movie. I don't like it. I don't think at all, honestly. I really wanted to, and I thought the music was definitely the highlight, but the entirety of it, I was mostly bored outside of the music. I found the pacing to be horribly paced, I guess, probably the best way to put it. Found myself checking the time multiple times throughout this movie. I think, performances I don't think are the problem. This is actually one of those movies that I typically wouldn't blame this on the filmmaker, but in this case I'm going to, because I think that everybody was trying to do the best that they could, and I think that a lot of my problem with it does come down to the filmmaker. I think that because I know that there was controversy going into it, like with the way that, it kind of deals with the suicide element and all that. And I found that to be pretty piss poor myself. I thought that they didn't do a good job. It's not one of those things where I'm going to go on Twitter and go, oh, I'm offended. It's not worth it. It's just dumb. That's all it is. It's not something to get offended over. It's just dumb. It's more or less just something that's like they could have, moving into film, done better with it. They could have handled it better, knowing that we're in the year 2021. This was probably supposed to come out in 2020, but either way, we've had a raising problem of mental health, mental illness, and, and here we are with this movie that, to me, seemingly just makes a mockery of all that, which, whatever, and if that's what you want to do, good on you, but I think that there probably just could have been an updated way to do it better. I thought the, you know, first half hour was probably the weakest of it all. I was honestly, I thought that it just, everything about the way it was done felt very awkward to me. It's weird because like the middle section maybe felt the best of everything, but that's because we were getting some of the best musical numbers in it, and some of the chemistry started to come about, like between, like, you know, Caitlin Dever and Ben Platt, who I actually do think had good chemistry. It's not so much that, again, I like the actors in this movie. I thought that they all really tried hard. I really do. Julianne Moore was wasted. Amy Adams was, you know, good for what she had to do, but then there's other stuff that I gotta get into that I thought was just laughably bad through the beginning. A lot of the beginning was very laughably bad. And then it kind of went back into that at the end, and man, did I just not have a good time with this one. I wanted to really badly, you know, and I thought the sound, I do think the soundtrack is the highlight of it. As far as like the music choreography and stuff for the numbers, that was all okay. You know, it's not the choreography. It's honestly just a big problem of pacing. And, you know, Evan Hansen, I didn't really know what to expect from his character. I honestly don't think that Ben Platt looked overly old. I think that they did a good job making him look like a young doofus, but I think that my problem with that was he's leaning a little bit Napoleon Dynamite for me, and I don't know if that was the intent. You know, it's that's the thing. It just doesn't feel like it knew what it wanted to be. I don't know what the intention or the goal of this movie was. It lost its motivation for me completely throughout its entirety. So that's where I'm at, but I'll let you go, Samee.
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell you right now what the intention and point of this movie was. And it was, I mean, I'm going to sound real mean saying it, but it's so we could all see how much of an incredible actor producer Mark Platt's son, Ben Platt, is. Isn't he so talented, you guys?
Very.
He's so talented. Look
I
how
mean that
talented he is.
but he is.
That was the point of this movie. This
Yeah.
movie was literally made to immortalize the, again, Tony Award winning and incredible stage performance of Ben Platt as Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
That was the point of this movie. That is why his father bought the rights, the expensive film rights to Dear Evan Hansen, and cast his son in it so they could immortalize his performance.
Yeah.
And I say that again because, again, this movie kind of, I did not like this movie. You can't tell. Yeah. Not a fan. Yeah. Didn't like it. Either. Kind of hated it. Kind of don't like anything about it. Again, some of the songs are very catchy and very good, but I kind of really just don't like anything about it. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not like mad about it. It's not ruining my life.
It's not good enough. It's nothing to get mad about. You know, it feels just kind of forgettable.
However, this movie did numerous times. Like, this movie is offensive, I feel like, to anybody. For me, I felt offensive to anybody who has actually dealt with the mental illnesses that Evan Hansen or Connor have. It feels like, because again, I saw this movie with my mom and she said the same thing of like, she was like, I don't know what they're trying to tell me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you want me to know about mental illness and, you know, unaliving yourself. And I don't know what you want me to know. And I told her, and I was like, it kind of sends a vibe that if you unalive yourself, then your family and friends and community will love you. You just need to unalive yourself first, and then everything will fall into place. Which is a horrible thing, especially to be telling the young people with mental illness, is that like, oh no, yeah, don't worry about that. If you do hurt yourself, like, your community is going to rally around you and it's going to be really beautiful for all of them. So don't worry about it. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it. You know, who cares? Because it's going to rally your community together.
Mm. Yeah.
Excuse me. Again, to those of us who have the illnesses that this movie is trying to portray, to me, again, in my own experience, again, it was like, what are you trying to say right now? You're trying to, you know what I mean? I just really,
I'm with you this one.
This movie, talking about this movie is a lot, man. Yeah. It's a lot because it is personal to me because, again, I do suffer very similar things to the things that Connor and Evan suffer with. And so I know what they're talking about. And so I know, you know what I mean? Part of this movie feels like this is what a healthy person imagines the life of a mentally ill teenager to be like. And I'm like, that's not the same as the actual realities of a mentally ill
Right.
teenager.
I
But
can,
the important story here is the outside of that is the important story. So then are we discrediting those with mental illness? Are we saying that they're a token, a stereotype to be used to further other healthy people's stories? Or does they not matter as much and we shouldn't care and just worry about the healthy people? You know what I mean? It's, what are you trying to tell me, dear? What are you trying to tell me, dear?
I can kind of relate to that in a way too, because I have a technically an illness too. I have diabetes, so it's not mental, but it's physical. So I can kind of see where you're coming from with that, because I've been I've kind of gone, not not depression or anything like that, but I have gone through bad times in my life. Well, in a way, actually, diabetes has it drove me to depression a bit, especially during lockdown. So, but now now that lockdown's not a thing anymore, you can kind of go out a little more. That's helped me get out of the, especially meeting you guys and being able to do this too has gotten me out of that whole depression stage. But I can see where you're coming from with this whole the healthy people stereotyping these mentally and in a way too physically ill people. So
I think it's honestly, though, it's one of those things where, because, depression and anxiety, runs in my family. I mean, I have it, pretty badly too. And, but, one of the things that, for me in this movie is like, I didn't get offended. I just was more or less like, this is so laughably bad. Like, I could laugh this off.
Yeah,
I'm
going to
forget about this movie.
It didn't ruin my life.
Right.
I'm at a place with my mental illness and stuff where seeing something like that is not going to affect or make me go into, but the thing is, like, I can see me at like 14 or 15
maybe
getting that message and making it kind of spiral and think in my head, like, what would happen if I chose to hurt myself? You know what I mean? I'm at a point now where that's not going to affect me.
Right.
But I, you know what I mean? I understand
I mean,
it's hurtful, though,
again,
still,
like I reckon a lot of people are
but it didn't ruin my life personally, but
no, and here's the thing. I do reckon a lot of people are going to like this movie. Like, that's fine. That's fine if you liked it. We're not trying to call anybody out because they liked it. Because they liked it.
For sure.
I reckon a lot of people will. There's a fun sort of vibe to the music, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's enough for certain people.
I was gonna ask y'all a question. How did y'all's theater react to the movie at the end, or like during the whole movie? Like, what was other people's reaction?
There was almost nobody in my theater. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So
mine was pretty dead. There were the biggest thing. There were these 3 like teenage girls who sat. So I sat in like the second to last row with my mom, and then these 3 teenage girls were in the very last row behind us, and they weren't talking during the whole thing per se, but they like kept getting up. They got up numerous times to get snacks and go to the bathroom and stuff. And like, they did not really give a shit. Other than that, there was like a couple of like older people in front of us.
Because I know
that was the crowd. It was like a 2:30 p.m. at a mall in New Mexico. So
I was gonna say, I mean,
it probably with a grain of salt.
It probably wasn't, for you guys per se, but I know a lot of people's the movies get ruined for them if they're not in like a crowded theater with a bunch of other people who like. I know sometimes that does change people's opinions, but it probably wasn't
affects
for you.
It affects it.
That's probably why I liked it more, because I was in a packed theater with people who were kind of feeling the same emotions as me throughout the movie.
Again, I reckon a lot of people will like this movie. I don't think that that's gonna be. I mean, like, I think a lot of people aren't gonna like this movie. I just
know what this. I know what this movie would have done to me if I had seen it when I was in high school. And and I don't want that for anybody else. Yeah. That's the fear. And I say that, you know what I mean? It's like, it's cool if you liked it and stuff. I just say, like, be careful. Yeah. Because I know for me, this would have hurt. It would have put me into a spiral. Yeah. It would have made new thoughts pop into my head that I do not want for the mentally ill youth. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up a musical number specifically here because, so it's the one you will know the name of the song. I don't know the names of the songs. I'm sorry. I do like the soundtrack and all.
See, I would, because I literally saved it on my Apple Music and I've been listening.
I probably will too, though, because like I like the soundtrack despite my feelings on the film itself.
I like the soundtrack too.
It's a great musical
soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack.
I listened to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs in the movie soundtrack that I kind of just like brush over just because I didn't like them that much. But
Oh yeah, there are skips for sure.
Yeah.
most of them for sure were really good songs. So I listen to those on repeat all the time.
The one I wanted to bring up specifically was when he's first having dinner with Connor's parents and his sister.
For forever.
For
Forever. So when he got up and started singing For Forever, first of all, executed so poorly. Because not the song itself, the song is fine, but the way that they played it, the direction was horrible. And Amy Adams had a smile on her face like somebody who is not mourning her son, which was like, why was she directed to do that? The dad looked bored out of his mind. Caitlin Dever looked like, what the fuck is going on here?
She had that like pissed what the fuck face on
she did.
Face. Yeah.
It was like, that they were not into this. Like, this is like one of those things. And to your earlier point, Sammy, a lot of this movie, well, again, I don't think that Ben Platt's a bad actor. I don't think he's a bad singer. And I think that they definitely made him look like a young doofus, assuming that was the intent, because they definitely did. But
neither here nor there, but
yeah, exactly. Not that it matters anymore, but
I'm kind of like,
but to your earlier point, this thing does feel incredibly self-centered on Ben Platt, and I don't know that it was supposed to.
Nobody in this movie matters but Evan Hansen.
It seems like it,
and that's the problem.
He was literally like the star role in this movie. Like, you didn't really see, like you said, Dom, Julianne Moore was really under. Like, you barely even saw her in this movie.
Wasted.
She was literally wasted. Like,
and the role of his mother on Broadway is also a Tony Award winning role.
Wow.
That's the thing. All the theater kids have been saying. Like,
I didn't know that either.
If you were dying on the hill of we want to immortalize the Tony Award winning show and performance of Dear Evan Hansen, then why cut out the other Tony Award winning performance? There were two. And you're just gonna cut one of them out?
Because you barely saw Julianne Moore in this movie, which I was really sad about because I wanted to see more of her.
And the parents are that was one of the biggest things. The parents are the heart and soul of the Broadway show, and this movie just says like, parents, who needs them? Aren't they crazy?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is insane, because again, the musical does such a beautiful job of showing like the difficulties of what it's like to be a parent with a mentally ill teenager. That's a difficult, interesting experience that this movie just says like, they have moms, I guess.
They need to put it on some like streaming service so I can watch this, because I really want to watch it now. I want to watch this Broadway music. Yeah, I really want to watch it now. Yeah.
I'm not saying, but if you look up Dear Evan Hansen like slime tutorial or bootleg words like that, you'll probably find what you're looking for. Not saying, but I am. That's a theater kid tip from me to you.
Yeah.
Slime tutorial.
Allegedly.
Are the words you want to look. Allegedly. Yeah. So I've heard on the street.
So specifically for Sammy, did this feel overlong to you? Did it feel like it was spaced horribly?
Oh my God.
Because I kept checking the time.
So goddamn long.
It was too long.
I was gonna say, Dom. The only time I really checked the time was when I had to go. I actually left the theater only because I had to pee.
Well, you liked it, so I mean that's
what
fine.
I missed like a little chunk of the movie because I couldn't hold it anymore, so I had to go. But Sammy told me I didn't really miss much anyway. So
yeah.
Well, you liked it, so
you left,
you're
you didn't
fine.
miss that much. Bro, this was long as shit, man.
It was long.
This was. Oh my God, man. It was so long. And for so many things, like my mother made this point too, that I was like, yeah, it's true. She was like, what? This movie did not need to be a musical. Why was this movie a musical? It doesn't. And I was like, yeah, because the cardinal rule of a musical is you have people talk until emotions get too high, and then you have them sing, and then they sing until those emotions are too high, and then they dance. And that is how a musical works. You know what I mean? And then things happen through there. And I'm like, but what? People just start singing, and the thing is too that there's the big thing too when like Connor's family starts singing. It's like the whole there's like 3 songs where it's just Evan singing, and then all of a sudden the family starts singing, and you're like, well, what is this? Because you need to also establish like, are the characters musical or are we in a musical world? You know what I mean? Are we all singing because our world is musical, or are we singing because they're musical, and that's how they get it across? And I mean, the movie does say it's the latter. It's because the characters are musical.
Yeah.
But for so much of the movie, it's like only, and it makes sense to have only Evan be the musical character because he's the different one, the outcast, you know what I mean? To have only Evan be singing. And I mean, I know the rest of the family sings because I mean, they cut the opening number from the Broadway show, which is neither here nor there. But, you know, so like I knew that was coming. But again, like if you don't know that everybody else is singing, they just start singing and you're like, why does this happen? I'm one of the biggest musical theater fans of all time. And I'm sitting here like, why are we singing right now, dog?
Yeah.
Well, you can sing too? I don't, what? The movie needs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Poorly directed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's some I noticed some sound mixing problems as well with those too. Song, I think it was No Requiem.
It's called just Requiem.
Requiem, okay, but why was that recorded in a Walmart bathroom? Because that's what it sounded like to me.
It was pretty.
It was really horrible.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was probably my least favorite song from the movie. I honestly like. I wanted them to just skip past that in the movie itself. Like that was the one part of the movie I just wanted them to skip over. I was like, why is this even like being sung right now?
It felt like they had taken like they couldn't finish the vocal parts because of COVID, and they went and recorded it over like Zoom or something to finish it out. And like it was so noticeable. There was another part too, and this bothered me. It wasn't even a music thing, but it was just a sound mixing thing. Evan's talking to the African American friend of his in this.
Amandla Stenberg.
Sure, yeah, okay. Alana. So he's talking about Alana, yeah. And so they're talking, and there's crickets going in the background at night, and every time they say something, the crickets are gone. Like you don't hear them anymore in the background.
True.
I was trying to figure out why that choice was made, or did they not have the equipment to mix the sound, or what was going on?
It was recording on Zoom.
Something. It sounded like it sometimes, and it really bothered me through a lot of it. You know, I mean,
her new song too, man. Her new song was literally just Waving Through a Window Part 2. Yeah. Like it literally felt like like copy my homework, but don't make it obvious. Change it a little bit so it's not obvious. That's what that song felt like to me.
Yeah, the anonymous ones.
Yes. Yeah, not a fan. It
honestly,
felt like Waving Through a Window, and they wanted to they were copying Waving Through a Window's homework and didn't want to make it obvious.
Those two,
That's what that song was.
Requiem and the anonymous ones were like my two least favorite from the movie.
Yeah.
When they did You Will Be Found, I actually quite enjoyed it though. I won't lie. Like that was really good.
That was one of
the best parts of the movie. Yeah.
That was one of the scenes where like me and the whole theater were like, I could hear like the people next to me to my right and left, like I could hear them like doing that because they were like in tears. Like I
don't know if it got me there, but it definitely was better than most of the parts.
Again,
of the
I think it's because
I did though, man. When Connor's stepdad, when Larry like walked in and cried for the first time, that made me cry. That was the one moment that kind of got me. Also, a little bit at the end when they see the video of Connor playing.
That must have been one of the
the guitar at his support group.
Okay,
I mean,
that was
I didn't
good.
cry, but I was like, if I was gonna cry, those would have been.
I think the stepdad scene I must have missed because I don't remember that part. That must have been when I was in the bathroom.
I like that scene of Connor playing at the support group because
did that happen? Did that happen before the support group scene?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I missed that part then because
that might have been when you stepped out. Yeah.
The one thing I liked about Connor playing at the support group was the fact that we weren't focusing on Evan Hansen for once. And we were finally taking a break.
Yeah.
But then, so that was like the one like silver lining to that. But this movie didn't get me emotionally at all, and I wanted it to. You know, I thought that this would be that movie that could do that, and it didn't at all. Like I wish it hit me, you know, at all, and it never did. You know, and I guess that, you know, you could tell it's trying to be dramatic, but it's not working, you know? And I think that, you know, speaks volumes about this movie for me, is the fact that everything it tried to do, they just failed on, you know? I think, in my opinion, everything they tried to do, it failed on. And, you know, that's an opinion, and I reckon a lot of people are going to like it. I understand that. It's fine, but again, you know, for me, you know, especially like this is it's one of the worst attempts at a movie I've seen probably this year. Honestly,
because the really funny thing for me is that in Mark Platt's attempt to immortalize his son's greatest performance, on screen. He has created one of the greatest controversies in musical theater history, and so many musical theater fans just hate this movie so much, and you have now just like made a whole group of people who were on Ben Platt's side just hate him now. So I was like, congratulations, good for you. Good for you. Also, I hate that you cut the song "Good for You." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be about that forever.
Again, go ahead.
I just looked up the Rotten Tomato score for this movie. Yeah, it's
it's pretty bad.
I haven't seen it.
It's 33%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But
it's the audience score though, like super high.
It's a 90 audience percent.
Yeah,
score.
so there you go. A lot of people are gonna like this movie. Like I said,
I'm one of those.
Actually, I can. It makes sense. Actually, never mind. I take that back.
I said a lot of people are gonna like this movie, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I accept that. But you know, for me, like, okay, so Connor's stepdad to me was probably the one big miscast in this whole movie.
Yeah,
I'm so sad I missed that part.
I thought he was so miscast in this movie. I didn't think he did well at all in this. I thought the chemistry between him and Amy Adams just didn't work, and like
there's just no energy. It's just so flat. The camera is doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like the movie's not doing it. It's just everyone just has no energy, and it's flat to me.
Who played the stepdad?
I don't know. He was miscast.
You have to look it up. Yeah, I don't know his name.
I don't know either, but
there's give me some, like, where's the flavor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where's the spice? This is a musical, for crying out loud. Where's the spice? I can't taste it. It's just bland.
Yeah, I've just really had
all around.
I've never had.
I might have also liked it just because I haven't been the biggest fans of musical movies, and there's very few that I've liked, and you know, this just happened to be better than probably any of the other musical movies I've seen. To be honest,
it's fine.
Which is fair. Yeah,
we said a lot.
And also, I don't watch many like Broadway musicals, so that's probably another reason why I like the movie, because I haven't seen the musical for this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's fine. If you liked it, you liked it. Nobody's gonna hold you accountable for that. But it's just, you know, for me, it's
laughably.
Yeah.
Pretty laughably bad.
Yeah. Well, you know that one number where they're, you know, trying to write the letter. That was like.
It's really me. I love.
Yeah.
I could have.
Which is a catchy song. It's a catchy song.
It's a fairly catchy song. I'll give it that.
Honestly, like, that one stuck in my head. I was singing it before you went, like, while you were getting your cable. I was singing that one.
And I was like, you know, this would be comedic if they weren't dealing with somebody who just committed suicide. Like, that was the whole thing with it.
Making up lies about somebody who just unalived themselves. Dog, like,
and lying that letter that Evan Hansen wrote saying that it was Connor's, that was...
Yeah, it's wild. It's offensive. Yeah. I guess not to me, but I can see how it'd be offensive to people.
Honestly, now that we're breaking it down, I can see it all now. I mean, I still like the movie, but I can see where you guys are coming from. Honestly.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, but I mean,
like, you know, if this were a real person, if you had heard that a real person had did this, you'd be like, homie.
You would tell them,
homie, where's your mom? Why did your mom not step in? Why did your Tony Award-winning mom not step in?
I'll give it this. It's a premise that I don't think we've seen before in a movie. And, you know, you could say that premise is it's different for a movie, and I'll give it that. The originality of the premise is great. But my gripe there is, if you're going to do that, then you got to execute it well. And you have to update it to film for 2021. So if you're going to do that number, you can't do it so abruptly after the kid committed suicide. You have to give something in between there to kind of flow it. You make it flow. And they really, I think, right in that moment, I think this movie shot itself in the foot. Like, really, no pun intended. That
doesn't it kind of feel like it feels like a CW teen drama, like Teen Wolf or something, or like
Teen Wolf
Riverdale.
Was MTV, and it's good.
MTV, I apologize.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm one of the biggest Vampire Diaries fans of all time. I love CW shows. Gossip Girl.
Oh my gosh, yes, both of those.
Defender my whole life.
Oh my God, yes, Gossip Girl is like my favorite.
Yes, it felt like one of those bad ones, though. To your point,
but it feels like a really bad, like, Riverdale musical episode. It feels like a CW teen drama that's doing a musical episode for God knows what reason, for no reason at all. That's how
Yeah.
this whole movie feels like.
It did
Like
feel a
Lifetime
little
movie
made for
that decided
TV.
to be
Yeah.
a movie that decided to be a musical for some reason.
It did feel a little bit made for
Yeah.
TV, where it just doesn't have any regard for anything, and we made
It's
it
like if
because we
13
could.
Reasons Why did a musical episode, this is what it would be.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that,
that's
I mean
actually
that negatively.
that's the nail in the coffin right there. Like that's like to the T, like
That's what this is.
yeah, it
So-
literally, yeah.
My question, because of how, let's say, problematic, I guess, the premises in the movie, and this is specifically for Samee having or knowing the musical a lot better. So my question would be, what's the difference in the musical that makes it a little less problematic? Is it just because of the time period it came out in, or what?
Well, I think there's two things. One, that the parents, especially his mom, again, like I keep saying, is so much more. She won a Tony for playing his mom on Broadway. Like this was a huge role.
Right.
That was huge that she won the Tony for that role. That she is, because the thing about the mom is that she is describing like the difficulties of what it's like to be a parent with a mentally ill teenager, where the conversation of like you want to love them and do everything for them, but they're hurting and you want to take it away but you can't, but you're trying to do things on their terms, but also they're sad, so you want to help. And but also now when you're talking about being Evan's parent, personally, it's like, so now he's lying about all of these things. Not only is he hurting, but now he's lying to all of these people. He's creating this whole life, all these things for him, and he just doesn't want me to be a part of it. And I don't understand that. That's a lot. And it makes it a lot more grounded. It makes Evan a lot more human to know that he's hurting people. He's hurting because he's hurting his mother. That's the thing. Like he's hurt. He needs to stop because lying about Connor, because he's hurting people. That's the thing, including his mom. But in this movie, it seems to me that he doesn't come to the realization like, oh, I need to, instead of being like, oh, I need to stop lying about Connor because I'm hurting other people. It's like, oh, I need to stop lying about Connor because it's making my life just like
because it's an inconvenience for him. That's how I felt. That was my problem.
It's because in the movie he wanted to, like he said in the movie and the song Words Fail, he's never had a mom or a dad that was there for him, or a girl that noticed him and actually liked him. So like,
your mom is trying. Everyone who watched the music,
like
your mom is supposed to be trying so hard, but the Julianne Moore for some reason just isn't.
Well, she's trying.
He felt he's
tried so much more though, man.
He felt like his mom in the movie wasn't trying just because she wasn't there.
No, the character definitely is not trying. I'm saying I think Julianne Moore was trying with the script, but there wasn't really much to work with. But because there's that scene toward the end where he's like running down the hallway and crying, and it's like I don't feel anything for this man. It's like I don't. It's hard to because It's
the other thing though, which actually might be three things, but also I think they also cut her big song "Good for You," which is a song the mom sings, and his Evan's friends Alana and Jared also sing to him, basically literally being like, well, good for you. You being like, you know what, if you want to lie to this family and go to a good college on your dirty money, then good for you, but we're not going to be a part of it, so bye, Evan. And again, it's the moment where he realizes, oh my God, my actions can hurt people, so I need to change. But because he never has that moment, it's never, I need to not hurt people. It's like, oh, well, I feel bad, so I should stop.
Yeah.
It's in a Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's a really good line, I don't remember it exactly, but where I think it's the therapist is talking to Bucky, and she's like, he's like, I just don't understand why, like, I'm going through my list and like I'm not feeling any better. I don't understand what's going on. And she's like, well, are you doing things for them or are you doing this for you? Because if you want to make amends, you need to help them. You hurt them, so you need to help them. You can't hurt them and then only help you and expect that to make things better. And that's the same thing that Evan's doing. He hurt other people, but thinks just by helping himself, that will also help the other people. That's not how it works. You need to help the people you have hurt, and then hopefully that will make you feel better. But you can't do it the other way around.
Right.
And that's the thing that Evan doesn't understand that. He does, because he doesn't have a moment to be like, oh my God, I've hurt the people that I love and care about, I should stop because I'm going to hurt them. It's, oh my God, I feel really shitty, I don't want to feel shitty anymore, I should apologize. That's different, you know what I mean? That's a different way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Else? Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, yeah, I don't know. There was a lot about going back to the first half hour of it. There was a lot about the editing that just made the everything feel so much more awkward.
The editing was so
a very
bad,
poorly
man.
edited movie, and it just made
was
it
like
all
filmed
feel
on
awkward.
iMovie.
I know.
Editing bad.
No, it's like they went on Fiverr. They're like, hey,
it seemed like it.
Just put these clips,
like
try and edit these clips together.
It seemed like it for me.
It'll do.
Yeah,
it felt like it.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I guess for me, it just didn't feel that way because again, I guess because I enjoyed it or whatever. But
yeah, that's fine. Like we said, or like I said, I reckon a lot of people will, and that's fine. Yeah, but like just there was no reason. I mean, one of the most important things to me in any movie is give me a reason to care, about the main character, and this just didn't for Evan Hansen. I think that was one of the biggest missteps about the movie is, for me, I didn't feel any reasons to care about Evan Hansen in this case,
It's jumping on that. That's for me, because a lot of people are saying, Ben Platt doesn't look like a teenager, and that's bad, and that's why I don't like the casting choice. But the thing is, if Evan Hansen were to be played by an actual teenager, you would get the sense, you would feel a little bit more bad for him because you would understand, like, oh, this is a child. Because it's true. You're like, oh, Evan's like 17. And if you cast Connor young too, it'd be like, oh, and another 17-year-old has unalived himself, and now a child has to deal with all of this. And you feel that, you know what I mean? And that kind of makes you care about it more. But because it's this 27-year-old man in this freaking hair,
I was
gonna
know.
Say it's a wig, but it's not a wig. I looked this up.
Yeah.
You're not looking at him like a child. You're looking at like, this is a grown ass man who should know the difference between right and wrong. But the character is not a grown ass man. He's a child, and that's part of the thing. You lose that when you cast a 27-year ass man.
I think I disagree with that though, because go ahead, Jose.
Did he have to shave for this movie?
He must have.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, he had to have.
I bet.
No, I
mean,
he
has a beard.
Yeah,
he grew it back. Yeah. He grew it back real quick though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely does. That's his real hair though.
I think, I disagree on that point. I think that all the casting was fine. I think that Ben Platt included. I think they all could have done well, given the proper execution. I just think that was where it really, where the big misstep was for this movie was just the execution. I think that all the casting, Ben Platt, no exception, I think he's a fine actor. It seemed like all of them, including Ben Platt, were trying with the material that they had. Like, they were doing the best with what they had to work with, and that wasn't really much, let's be honest. And a lot of the vocabulary of Evan Hansen in the beginning, I noticed this. I don't know why this was a decision, but a lot of his vocabulary was just him asking questions, and they were so brief, and it all of his dialogue felt incredibly brief. And so, and the way it was written was like no teenager talks. That was the biggest thing too.
God,
you wouldn't have felt his age.
The way they use social media in this movie. Again, I'm like, no teenagers or mentally ill people, let alone any young mentally ill people, were consulted in the making of this movie.
Yeah.
Or it feels that way.
Yeah.
They should have made the musical into a movie. That would have been cool. Like, done it the same way.
Just do a pro shot. I say this every day of my life. It feels like, just do a pro shot. Oh my God,
Hamilton.
Mark Platt. You have
exactly.
It worked for Hamilton. It works for every musical ever. I will be mad until the end of time that they have not made a pro shot for Wicked. Because do you realize how many times people have watched Wicked on YouTube for free? Just random people filming it, and how they could be making like $5 each time somebody wants to watch it if they just made a pro shot and released it.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to make a movie. You can just make a pro shot. Again, Mark Platt, you have the money. You had the money to buy the movie rights to this. Why didn't you could have just made a pro shot?
Yeah.
But no, my son can't get nominated for an Oscar that way. So
yeah,
we have to make a feature film for Hollywood.
Yeah, you're gonna make my son the
They
star
don't
of this
take
movie.
pro shots seriously. We don't take musicals seriously. We have to make it a movie in Hollywood.
Make my son the star, and then he'll win an Oscar.
I'll tell you, one of the things that
again, I don't think Mark Platt's a bad person, by the way, or Ben Platt. It's gonna come out that way that I think they're bad people. I just don't like this choice,
they had
decision that they made.
They had a bad day at the office. I think they just had a bad day at the office here. That's really what it boils down to.
I think he just really didn't think about it. He said, you know what, Ben wants it, I'm gonna do it for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a little bit what happened.
A little bit. This is another one I'll bring up too, because this rubbed me the wrong way. I definitely wanted to get your take on it, Sammy, knowing that you didn't really enjoy this movie either. Kate, which Jose, you could chime in too if you have any thoughts on it. Caitlin Deaver's character, right, who I think is a very talented actress. She's actually one of my favorite young actresses working right now, and I thought another one that was casted well. I think she did the best with what she had, but what she had was going back to the dinner table thing, she's talking. They're talking about Connor, and she's basically sitting there saying she's a piece of shit. I was getting mixed emotions from that, because for me, it was almost like the movie was like that. Even mixed the message of the movie to me even more, because it was just so confusing to navigate throughout. I think that first half hour to 45 minutes because of comments like that. It's like, so
you didn't know if she was like a good person or not. Like, if she was also
not so much that, but more about Connor, I guess, being a good person or not. It was making me wonder. It's like, are you trying to say it's okay that he killed himself because he's a piece of shit? Like, that was a really mixed message that I had gotten in that moment. But obviously the movie went a different route, after the fact. But I'm saying there were so many things like that just gave me mixed messages, about like what the goal of the film was and what the message of the movie was. And it took way too long to, try to go in a clear direction,
And guess who changed her mind in the movie? It was Ben Platt.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the other thing.
Through the song, If I Could Tell Her.
And I like that song. Actually, you know what? Outside of
I hate that scene. The song's alright.
I like that scene, actually. That one I did like.
I hate what it means. I'm like, oh God, because here's I have a little brother and I love him to death.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he, God forbid, ever unalived himself and some dude comes in and has like a crush on me and tells me all of the things that he said, and he says, oh no, your brother said this about you, but it's really the things that he thinks about me, and I find this out later.
Well, my problem,
I'm going to jail or I'm vomiting on somebody like that. Like, it's not an okay. That is like, I was like, ugh, that's why I hate
I liked the scene at the time of it happening. I just wish same thing I wish about everything in this movie. If you're just gonna go with something, commit to it, and they don't. They always just diverts, and not in a good way. It diverts, in a way that's like, we just don't know what we're doing. We don't know the direction yet. We don't know which way we want to take it, and we don't know how to execute this properly. It's never good diversion, like, you could divert my expectations and I'll be fine with it, but when he comes to, when they start to have that chemistry, and I think it's really good between the two of them, actually, between acting, or, as far as the performers go in that scene.
They do what they can.
I think it's good chemistry, honestly. But, again, it was another thing, like, after the fact, even though I was enjoying it at the moment, because in the moment, I thought, oh, this is where they're going, okay. But that's not where they're going. It's like they just don't commit to anything in this movie. They can't commit to anything. It just feels like we just want to try this and then we're going to move on to something else. It never stays in a lane, and sometimes that can work. But in this particular case, when you're dealing with such heavy subject matter, if you're gonna make a mockery of it, I hate to say this, but if you're going to, then commit to that. You know, like I think it's a bad thing to do, but if you're gonna be that movie, then be that movie. That's my point. You know, it's like if you're gonna be the movie that tries to be suicide preventive, then be that movie. But you don't have a lane that you're sticking in. You know, you're honestly like you're trying to be 100 different things at once and giving 100 different mixed signals all in one thing, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't, especially when you're dealing with this kind of subject matter. It's not enough. Again, it's too dumb to be offended by. But on the same hand, it's like for myself anyway. But on the same hand, it's like if you're gonna risk it, then stick with the risk. If you're not gonna risk it, then don't risk it. You know, that's
as the saying goes, risk it for the biscuit.
Right, risk it for the biscuit. Thank you. Yeah. But like.
But I mean, again, the only point of this movie was Ben Platt.
Seemed like it.
That was the point of this movie.
No, I mean, it literally
literally, like, that's not even my opinion. Like, literally, that's the point of this movie was Ben Platt. His father purposefully purchased the rights for a ton of money, like overpaid a little bit, so he could make it and cast his son.
That's the other problem I had, though, is because they're putting Ben Platt front and center so much throughout this movie, and I'm not even sure that he showed his full potential here. You know, because like that was clearly the motivation, was to showcase his potential as a singer and performer, and even he didn't live up to it, you know, so that was another issue I had.
The thing is, I've heard other people say this too, and I totally agree, that he's doing Evan Hansen on Broadway. He's not doing Evan Hansen the movie. It felt like that. He's playing for a 2,000 seat audience. You know what I mean? Like, that's the room that he's playing to. In a movie, I'm like, Ben, I'm right here. We're face to face. It doesn't work the same exactly. Yeah. And like, again, that's the big thing. But again, that was the point.
Yeah. No, it's true, though, because, like, that was one of the things I continuously kept thinking in my mind. I was like, I reckon this is a lot better seeing it on stage, because he kept, like, giving that type of theater performance, I felt like, throughout it. And it didn't vibe.
You look at, like, Caitlin Dever, and you're like, Caitlin Dever is a film. She is playing Zoe in a film. She's a film actress. She understands that there's a camera, and she's in a movie. Exactly.
Yeah. And again, like, I think that maybe that direction of trying to give him because I think that does work sometimes. Like, I have seen, like, people come in and play it as if it was a Broadway performance, you know, like, I've seen those types of musical movies too, where that does work.
Right, like The Producers. I always think, like, The Producers the movie, the new one, is literally just like the Broadway version in a movie.
Yeah.
It is just, they literally said, okay, let's just make it a movie now and change nothing about performances, direction, nothing. Right. But it's still, again, it commits.
Right,
it's
commit to it.
To the bit.
Same thing I was saying, yeah. Commit
and it's
to
about, you know, it's a farce kind of a thing. So it works, it's fine. But this is not a farce. This is teenagers unaliving themselves. This is mental illness. Yeah. This is serious. This is not, let's have a farce. Not saying that World War II is not serious. What they make fun of in The Producers, if you know, you know. Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
No, they do, but there's ways to do it respectfully. You know, if you're gonna make fun of, like, serious subject matter, there's ways to do it where it feels like I look at, like, Mel Brooks movies. This is nothing like Evan Hansen.
Like Springtime for Hitler, genuinely, like, that is parody in its finest form. Sure. That is how you do something really offensive, I think. From The Producers.
Oh, you mean the number?
The song, yeah.
The number, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the number, yeah.
I've seen that movie like once. I saw it once. It's a good movie.
I love The Producers.
It's a good movie.
I've seen that movie so many times.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's a good movie.
But that whole Springtime for Hitler sequence, that is parody, man. That is how you do something so offensive and yet so funny. Yeah, and it's totally fine because it's funny. Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's kind of a shame that, like, this is, like, Ben Platt's, to my knowledge, first, like, leading movie musical, I think, because I think that part of the problem that, you know, we probably all have with it as well, and a lot of people are going to have, is the fact, I mean, it's not a good movie by any means. Like I said, to me, it's not well executed by any means, regardless, but I think that part of I kind of feel for Ben Platt in the sense that this is the first time he did one of these that he led. So like, because I kind of like you were kind of saying there's ways to do it where it's funny, but I kind of liken it to people like comedians like Dave Chappelle or Bill Burr, where they're extremely offensive, but they worked to get to that point. They have already gained the audience's trust, so the audience knows that those guys are funny. They know that, you know what I mean. They know that to like listen to the offensive so-called comedy and like know that it's just a joke. With Ben Platt, I feel like being front and center of all of this movie, he hasn't worked his way to, especially like a casual audience right now, to be able to really gain their trust on that. And so for me, when I see something like this, I'm like, who's this motherfucker trying to make fun of suicide? And I'm sorry, it just comes off that way. It's, you know, and even though I like Ben Platt personally, anytime I've seen him, he seems all right. You know, he's a really talented dude. I really, truly believe that. But, you know, just like a comedian, if you're going to, you know, try to tackle the subject matter, you have to have material that was done prior. And again, just because it's worked on Broadway doesn't mean it's going to work here. You might be big with the Broadway crowd, but you're dealing with a different crowd. I hear it's another comedian comparison too, where you hear them talk about different types of venues that they play all the time. You have to work different crowds in different ways. And I feel the same way between Broadway and film. And if you're going to try to adapt this to film, you have to realize what audience you're trying to cater to a little bit. Read the room, right? You know, that's the big saying, and they didn't read the room. That's kind of how I felt here. So that's my analysis.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I mean, you spot on.
Trying to think if there's any more like specifics. We got about like 15-20 minutes left. Any more like specific things?
Well, I want to hear Jose's take because, you know, from somebody who liked this movie, I mean, what to you stood out, you know. I want to hear your defense of it a little bit because, after hearing, you know, what we said, there's got to be some defense. I know you said you saw where we're coming from and all that, but
I mean, like you know, now that I've talked to you, because I didn't know what you guys thought about this movie because you guys hadn't seen it yet. But now, you know, that I've heard what you guys have said, I agree with a lot of what you guys have said. Like, you know, Julianne Moore not being in the movie enough, you know, she was wasted. The mom could have been played a lot better. The parents singing Requiem, like, why? There's no need for that.
Could have hacked it.
Yeah, honestly, you could have hacked it.
You could have had the only person.
You could have cut that whole song out of the movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared. Like, it would have been fine.
You could have had the only person who sings be Evan, and then I mean, I guess you could have Alana still sing her song, and then have everybody sing "You Will Be Found Still." But like that would be fine, and that would make a lot more sense. Because again, like, have you guys ever seen Yentl? By the way,
no, but I know what the Barbara Streisand. I know what it is.
I
know
recently
the
watched
songs
Yentl for the first time.
Papa,
that movie was
hear me?
fucking incredible. By the way, Papa, can you hear me? Yeah,
I know the song
because it sounds like from Deadpool 2. Because it sounds like do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah.
But no, that movie was incredible. Mandy Patinkin was in it, and I did not know that, and he was phenomenal in that movie. Oh my god, he killed me. He was so good. But anyway, Yentl is the only character who sings in that movie. And it's purposeful because she is so different from everybody else, and she's the out of the box one. So it's establishing that the world she's living in is not musical, but she is, and that's why she's singing. And that would have been great for here. Just have Evan be the only one who's singing, but then have Alana, like, you can still have her song come in, because then it would show even more that she's on the same level with him. Be like, no, I understand. I also sing. You know what I mean? And then it would have been beautiful when You Will Be Found to have all of these other people who have never sung before start singing.
It was good.
This movie does not have that level of thought because we're just here for Ben Platt.
I was gonna say, now that I hear that it would have made the movie a lot better.
Right. Yeah. So I had that choice, like, why are the parents here right now?
Yeah.
And I mean, you could still probably have So Big, So Small at the end too, because that would be, you know, Evan's mother finally.
Yeah, no, that
having a moment.
I like.
You could still have that too.
That was a good one. I like that scene.
Yeah.
But again, just like have that, like these. Yeah. Because again, by selecting these important moments, you make it more important. But by the time be like, just have everybody kind of sing when they want to sing.
True.
Yeah. It establishes nothing. It's like for what? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, I guess, the first song that he sung, I really liked.
Mhm.
Me too.
Waving Through a Window.
Waving a Window. That was. I like the
It
whole.
is a good song.
I like that scene too, where he's like,
Yeah.
he's singing, and no one else really like is noticing that he's
Right,
singing.
yeah.
How they played that out, making it like like he's kind of awkward and doesn't really like talking.
Yeah, I'll
to-
cut in
I
really
did
quick
like that.
too on that, because I want to say that when that number started, I actually thought that was all done really well, and I was thinking in my mind, I was like, yeah, people who hate this don't know what they're talking about. I was thinking that in my head when that number started out. But that was my thought initially. Obviously, it was all downhill from there for me. But initially I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't that bad. But yeah, but because that number was good and I liked it. I thought it was done well. That
And
first
then
part.
I mean, you guys might disagree with me with this, but sincerely, I like the way they shot that one too. The song and how they shot. I mean,
yeah,
I just like because
it wasn't bad.
It was pretty comedic for me. Like when
Mhm.
when it first popped up and I was watching that whole thing.
Yeah.
When he was trying to get his friend help him write those letters,
Yeah.
and he was trying to make it like, I'm trying to make it more erotic.
To
Like,
me,
that
it
was-
didn't work.
No,
I mean,
it was funny though. You know how they keep like replaying it and
yeah, I
going
mean, to
back
me,
and
like, okay,
it
yeah, that was
worked.
cut
I
together
saw what they were
okay.
doing.
Yeah, again, I go back to my point. If it wasn't, it would have worked for me a lot better if it wasn't dealing with somebody who just freshly
Yes.
committed suicide.
Yes.
So I
True,
go back to
yes,
that.
yes.
But,
It was lies about someone who just
Yeah.
alleged
it could have been
themselves,
funny
If it would've
maybe
been-
if there was something
I was
in
gonna say,
between to break
exactly.
it up a little bit.
If it
Yeah.
was-
Mhm.
If it was about, I don't know, if it was maybe about something different, then yeah, it would have been a lot better. But I mean, I guess at the time it was still like,
Or if they'd been
it was still-
self-aware of the fact of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
if it wasn't so
Yeah.
taken literally and so
It
seriously.
just felt like it was from a different movie. Like when that's why it didn't work for me, because
Right.
when it started up, or the whole time, I just felt like this is a different movie I'm watching now. All of a sudden, it didn't feel like I was watching the same movie. It came up so
Yeah.
abruptly. I was like, wow, this is it took me out of it. Yeah.
And then
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Jose. You
and
give you
the other
defense.
two, I guess they were kind of like romantic songs, like Only Us and If I Could Tell Her. I think the reason why I like those so much, especially like the scenes, like the show, especially in Only Us, the whole them singing back and forth each other. I like those so much because I can kind of relate to it. Like my most recent ex, she didn't really notice me, not until we kind of just started talking more. We found that we had a lot in common. And I wrote her like letters about like, stuff that I noticed about her that, she never, I never got really the chance to tell her, until she like actually noticed me. And, and then, we, started dating and all that. And I guess I can just relate to the songs in that way that like, I was never really noticed by her. And then until she
Right.
finally noticed me and it felt nice. But I mean, besides that, now that I think about it, there is a lot of stuff. in this movie
I
that-
mean,
it could have been either
yeah.
either been cut out or done differently,
Yeah. No, there's like,
Yeah.
listen, I mean, there's a lot of like little things like that again, like I reckon a lot of people are probably going to relate to on some level, because there are like Evan Hansen, don't get me wrong, like the problems that are there are real problems. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like that's
right.
the ones that are in the film are real problems, which is why I think a lot of people are actually still going to enjoy that. And apparently a lot of people did, but based on the score, but and I think that because they are real problems and real things you deal with. But for me, it just seems the way in execution, the way it was all executed, it just seems so fake. That was where I had the problem mostly, is when it all seems so fake. But a lot of the problems of depression and anxiety, like the broad strokes of it are there, but it's not, it doesn't mean it doesn't hit the way it should have, maybe, for me. That's kind of where I'm at.
I'm also just a very like I get emotional very easily, so that's probably another reason why I like this so much, because those scenes they hit.
Yeah.
I mean, just because that's the kind of I'm just a very,
Well, yeah, it has. Listen, I mean,
Very
again,
emotional.
it has like emotional music in there, and it has like songs that are very heightened, and that could be enough for some people, and that's like something.
Like when I listen.
But yeah, it again for me though is like it's all about the context. It's the fact that like the songs are catchy. Yeah, it's all right, but I'm like, if you just, Connor is gone though. Fam.
If you just like listen to those songs just like on Apple Music or something without
out of context.
Like, I was about to say without knowing what the movie was really about. Like,
that's what
like,
I mean.
When I go back listen to like Only Us and If I Could Tell It, like it like brings me back those memories, and so like it just it hits me, and
I love that for you. Yeah.
So
there's good songs.
Yeah. Like if anything, the soundtrack was good.
Yeah, it's great. It's hype as crap.
And it's also, I think, like
if anything, that's
like
probably
you said, Dom, that all of
Go ahead, Sammy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sammy.
Oh, go ahead. That like you said, Dom, that all of the problems are valid. It's just, for me, the biggest problems of the movie are things that are not like just an everyday problem. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody with anxiety, depression writes a letter to themselves every day that gets found.
Well, I wasn't referring to that specifically.
Kid that gets all of that, and then you have to go into all of these things, and you get popular through your lie and all of that, and suddenly a rich family wants to give you money. But I do think, though, that I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Well, I was just referring to the stuff outside of that, like the minuscule problems I think are there that people can relate to. Agreed. Like the stuff about him faking, being his friend and all that shit. Like that's obviously like not gonna be. I hope nobody's doing that in real life.
But
I mean, honestly, it probably
has happened, but I hope to God it hasn't.
But I remember what I was going to say, that the thing is, though, that the thing is, the big problems are problems that Evan and Evan alone creates for himself. You know what I mean? And that he goes out of his way to make that issue that no one but him created, that it affects him and him alone, that he now makes as everybody else's problem. Yeah. And then in the end, to make things better, he does the same thing, that he just goes like, oh, well, I'm trying to get better, and does nothing really to fix anything truly. Again, just like making it everybody else's problem. Like, yeah, I effed up your lives, but that's a you problem now, because I'm also really sad, guys. And they just accept it. They're like, oh no, it's true, he is really sad, we do have to just move on and accept this. That's not the message, again, I want our especially mentally ill teenagers to be hearing, to be listening to, and thinking that that's okay. Because again, it's so detrimental to think that if you just do it, if you just unalive yourself, then your family, your parents will love you more, they will come together, your community will rally around you, and you will have an orchard dedicated to you, and you'll never be forgotten. All you have to do is unalive yourself.
Yeah, that's no. But so what I was gonna say is that
that's honestly, the core of why I don't like this movie. I feel like I honestly, in a paragraph, that's it right there.
I think the reason why most people will like this, and why most people probably have liked it, is because of the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack makes the movie in a way. Good, yeah. In a way, like
Pasek and Paul, man, they know how to write a catchy tune.
People,
they do.
Take away the whole message that this movie shouldn't have put out. Yeah. Just take the soundtrack. People will go back and listen to the and want to probably go back to the movie just for the soundtrack. So that's probably what will make people want to go back and watch this, especially probably because of the whole "You Will Be Found" scene. Like that will make a lot of people want to like go back and watch that. Yeah, just because they'll just seen that scene, they'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, I'm not alone, I'll have people there for me no matter what. So
yeah, I will say this about the songwriters Peter and Paul here, that
Pasek and Paul,
that's what I said, but that basically they have
two apostles.
Right.
Peter Paul.
I think of the three that I know of between La La Land, this, and Greatest Showman, and this. I think this is my least favorite one of theirs. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go La La Land, Greatest Showman, Dear Evan Hansen.
I go La La Land as a movie, and that's how I would rank the movies. But as songs, I still got to give Greatest Showman the edge. I hate to say it, like
honestly, like I haven't heard of any of the songs from La La Land. But
have you not seen La La Land?
I have not seen the movie.
It's amazing.
Dude, you would probably really like it. I'm gonna write a list of musicals that you have to watch, because musicals are incredible, and there are so many better.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I hadn't seen Greatest Showman before I watched Dear Evan Hansen. But like Dear Evan Hansen kind of got me into musicals, and then when I watched Dear Evan Hansen with Dom, oh my goodness, did I?
Yeah. You be Greatest Showman.
Yeah, man.
The Greatest Showman. Yeah. I love musicals now, man. That movie was...
Oh my gosh, man. You got to go down the Sondheim rabbit hole. You got to go down the Andrew Lloyd Webber rabbit hole. There's so many modern musicals that are incredible. You got to do the classics. You got to go down that Rodgers and Hammerstein rabbit hole.
La La Land is free on Hulu, so I'm watching that.
There you go.
I'm gonna watch it on one of my days off.
Oh, it's amazing. It's my favorite movie as far as songs that. Sorry, Sammy, give me the name one more time.
Of what is it? Pasek and Paul?
Thank you, Patrick and Paul.
Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul.
Yeah. As far as like
the prophets, Peter and Paul.
when it comes to movies
Jesus'
that they've written songs for, La La Land is the best one of theirs, I think. But
I agree with that.
yeah. But soundtracks, I'm going Greatest Showman over La La Land.
I was gonna say, like,
That's fair.
of Dear, the two, Dear Evan Hansen and Greatest Showman, I definitely put, Greatest Showman, and then obviously Dear Evan Hansen.
Soundtrack or movie?
Yeah, for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
For the movie, 100. It's the Greatest Showman for sure. Like,
Oh, you think so? Okay, yeah.
movie wise, I definitely would put Greatest Showman over Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Just because the whole message that movie put out was
right on.
was very.
I love that movie. I love it. I'm a guilty pleasure. I love it.
It was all right. I don't hate it.
Hugh Jackman was incredible in that movie.
He's so good in that movie.
He's so, and then
so
Zendaya, the love story with Zendaya and Zac Efron was amazing too.
Oh.
And then just the singing from the bearded woman, that was this is me. Oh my goodness. Like probably my favorite song from that movie, man.
Jose knows this, Sammy, but
again, I'm gonna give you a list of musicals that you should watch because there are better, bigger, and better movies. Just musicals than the ones Pasek and Paul have written. Not saying
just DM them to me and I'll watch them.
Jose knows
I will
this.
literally make you a list.
By the way, Sammy, but
I want to share the love of musical theater
say less,
always and forever.
Say less.
I want to jump off Jose's Zendaya thing really quick, Sammy. I was trying to do it a long time ago when it was more relevant, but then you guys kept going. But anyway, so as far as Zendaya goes, Dune better be good because I have Zendaya hanging on my wall now, and it's a Dune poster.
Yeah, he's
got the poster.
Badass.
He's a Zendaya's Dune poster.
Yeah, so the movie better be good now.
The thing that I don't know what it's called, but they all that nose.
It's in there. It's in her nose.
Yeah.
I'm honestly actually looking forward. I'm going to go watch Dune. I'm going.
Oh, I can't wait.
Did we go?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, how you say?
Chalamet. You had it.
Yeah.
Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet.
Mine and Sammy's love interests are
that is how
in
it's pronounced.
Timothée
Chalamet.
There you go.
Mine and Sammy's
it's French, right?
Yeah,
He's French,
it's French.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine and Sammy's celebrity crushes are in that movie, and their love interests in that movie. How interesting is that?
I know.
Mine is Zendaya.
We
hers
need
is Chalamet.
I mean, yeah, Zendaya. Honestly, she's a goddess. Like Zendaya.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, she's like one of the only Disney stars who hasn't gone down a dark path.
Yeah. We love her.
Or a weird path.
We need
Take it easy there.
Adam Driver. And I don't know who else. Who else do you like? Who's older? Because Adam Driver and Zendaya, I don't want to be love interest in a movie. That's too big of an age gap.
Oh, who else do I like?
So I'm like, that would be that would be the true ultimate.
I mean,
if Adam Driver was in Dune.
Look,
that would be the would be the cherry on top.
Adam Driver and why am I forgetting her name? Daisy Ridley. That's a pretty good love interest. I ain't gonna lie. Like in Star Wars, that's I don't know, Dom, if you feel the same way, but it's a pretty good love story in the movies. I ain't gonna lie.
I love Daisy Ridley as a person. She's not like toward the top as far as like celebrity crushes go. Like I don't think she's ugly by any means, but you know, she's not like when it comes to like celebrity crushes, I don't necessarily put her toward.
Obviously,
she's awesome though. She's a great actress and I love her, but not for that reason. Zendaya's a great actress and talented too, but she's also incredibly gorgeous and just
she is stunning no matter what. Real quick, welcome to Zendaya talk at the end of movie night here. But literally Zendaya, like, it looks flawless no matter what she's wearing. She's one of those women that like you see her literally in like sweatpants and her hair in a bun and like no makeup and like a sweater, and she looks like the most gorgeous woman you've ever seen in your entire life. And then she wears a ball gown and wears literally any style of fashion and is just like stunning. Like it is hard to be like drop dead stunning in every situation. I don't understand, but Zendaya does it. I don't understand.
Well, that's what I've been trying to say the whole time.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I first formed my crush for her in Shake It Up. Back when I was,
oh my god, hell yeah, Shake It. And she seems like such a good person. Like she genuinely,
she seems down to earth.
Is a good one. She feels like a homie.
Well, to bring it back full circle,
she'd be really nice to me if I met her.
To bring it back full circle to this movie, what I've been trying to say this whole time is you put Zendaya in it, Boom, you fixed Dear Evan Hansen. Look at that.
Boom. She's a phenomenal singer too.
I was about to say, yeah, because and Shake It Up.
Have her. Oh my God, she should have played Evan.
Yeah, the female Evan.
I would have said she should have been Zoe, but I'm like, no, she should have been Evan.
You know what's funny? That would have
been
worked.
incredible.
That would have worked.
Am I right?
Evan
That would have worked.
Make Evan a female name, like, I don't know, how do you make that a female name?
Ellie, something like that.
Ellie Hansen.
L Hansen.
L Hansen.
Dear
L
L
Hansen.
Hansen. Done.
No, but
There you
honestly though, like she's like
Send me a check, Mark Platt. Send me the check.
In Shake It Up, she was good at like, singing, so yeah, she could have done. And in Greatest Showman too, like.
Oh
yeah. She would have been good in this movie. Put her in there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Zendaya should have been in this movie. There, we fixed it. That would have been better. I would have liked it a lot more.
Hey, well, send us a check. We'll split it.
Send us a check. Yeah, we'll let you have that one because we don't want to see it. But with that being said, yeah, guys, I'm not a fan of this one. Not good. I kind of don't want to recommend it. If you haven't seen it, I'm like, good for you. You don't need to see it. I mean, if you're dying to, if this sounds so interesting to you and you really want to check it out, go for it. But if you don't, I wouldn't seek it out. If you don't want to, if you already didn't want to see it, seeing it's not going to make you like it. You know what I'm saying? I give it. I'm trying to think of how I would rate it. I'm going.
We got to go off our new rating system. We got. Well, hold on. We got to go off the new one.
Okay.
The must go, the might go, the no go, or the forget about it. Where would you go?
Oh, forget about it. I really kind of got to say
nice New York accent.
Unless you care, but if you care, sure.
Yeah.
But forget about it. Forget about it.
Yeah. Jose,
Gobble your last
you already ranked it. You gave it the must
go. I mean,
you can't go back. You already gave it the must go.
Man.
Sorry, man. We're trying to be Rotten Tomatoes verified here, so you can't go back on your shit.
Okay.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because it's changed, but you know, whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't go back.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, must go.
Must go. Yeah. So my closing. I mean, I would just say that you know. We're not the end all be all here, folks. I mean, if you like the movie, you like the movie. I'm kind of somewhere. I didn't really like it, but I'm kind of somewhere between the no go and forget about it. I guess I would probably lean a little bit more no go, just slightly, but it's a low no go. You know,
I go like a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
because I was like, I don't know if I want to give it a 1 out of 5 because there are redeeming qualities, but I don't know if I can get a full 2 out of 5. So yeah, 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, Jose, you gave it a must go, but go ahead and give a closing thing, I guess. Your closing statement. We always just give some kind of closing statement on the show.
Well, I guess I mean, out of 5, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 or 3, somewhere around there.
Can't go back. You already gave it the 5.
Oh, well, yeah, true. Well, I guess, I mean, as I've said here, I liked it, at least when I watched it, because I don't know if it was the audience ambiance, you know, like the whole reactions of them kind of maybe would swayed my feelings of it. But I did genuinely like it when I first watched it. But I guess talking here, you know, I see where these guys come from, and you know, you can't, you know, the 90% Rotten Tomato or audience score can't, you know. A lot of people are going to like it. You know, some people aren't going to. I mean, I'm talking to 2 people who didn't like it. So, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, our thoughts aren't, you know, they're just opinions. They're not, you know, they're not here to be taken seriously. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So if you want to go watch it, go watch it. If you don't want to, then don't go. Don't waste your money on this movie. Go watch something else that you might be interested in.
I don't want to be that guy, but can somebody read out the suicide hotline number just so we don't get sued or something?
Oh,
like,
I used to have it memorized because what's it
that song
Logic made a song about it.
Just somebody if you could, just because I want to be safe on this. And
all right, I got you.
No, that's why also like
I got
that's why like I say unalive just because
all right, so
you never know what someone's triggers are.
Yeah.
So
and I'm aware of how easily and crazy some people's triggers can be.
You got it. You got it. Okay, Jose, go for it.
National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, if you want to call it, it is 800-273-8255.
Thank you.
Put that in the description as well.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely need that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is
yes. Because it is the reason why I am so not about this movie is again because it is such a big deal.
You know, I don't like
it is it is.
Yeah, I don't want to be the disclaimer guy, but we've mentioned that subject a lot tonight, and I just want to make sure everybody's okay. So we better put it down there, and I'm glad we read it out. So just to be on the safe side, I hope all of our viewers out there are okay. I really do, but it's just I wanted to.
And look, if you need anyone to reach out to, I mean, we're here too. If you need, in the comments, if you have anything you need to say or anything, just we're always here for you guys
don't
too.
wait until it's too late and some freaking kid with a cast tries to tell everybody that you were friends and writes a whole narrative about your life, and then you get a apple orchard dedicated to your name when you didn't even really give that big of a shit about the apple orchard. Don't wait until that. That's what I gotta say. Don't wait for that to happen. Definitely get help. Do what you gotta do.
Get help as soon as possible, because I've been, it's not depression or anything, but I've been bullied through my life, where I've been in times where I've been down, and like I said, when I had this diabetes, there was times where I was down, especially because stress got me into like high sugar levels, and it was like really making me sad, and it had to do also with like the situation I was in. But I got help from I'm seeing I'll say this, I'm seeing a psychologist right now.
Good.
That's awesome.
And Dom and Samee, you guys have helped me too. Getting becoming friends with you guys and talking with you guys about this kind of stuff has also gotten me out of that darkness that I was in, and I'm just grateful for you guys and all this help that I've done. So
yeah, Adam and I did a great monthly mumble. It was our first one that we did about the Bo Burnham special, where he and I were very open, about our depression, our anxiety, and if you guys, don't want to feel alone or feel like you're alone, I do recommend you go listen to that. Not to plug our content, but if there's anything I can do, that's probably the best thing I can lend to anybody, is because that discussion definitely took us down that path, and hopefully the intent of that was to help people and let them know that they're not alone in this. So I definitely recommend giving that a listen if you would, but if you need to. So
absolutely, yeah, I got nothing more to say on that.
Yeah.
Same all around. But yeah, with that being said, we are gonna wrap it up for this week on movie night. Next week we're doing Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I hope it's good, guys. We're gonna see. I want it to be good.
I have not gotten a screening invite for that. I'm a little upset. I'm waiting on it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one, honestly. The trailers have hyped me up so much.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's anything I don't want to pay for, it's that.
is different, but not better.
Yeah.
It is different, not better.
I would pay for it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I do not want to pay, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna the tragedies of the wig will be continued.
Darth Plagueis.
Yes, Darth Plagueis the wig. That's how I feel about that. That wig is god awful, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they gave her a different yet equally bad wig. At least that's what the trailers show. It's
Seems
just
like
as
it.
bad, but it's different.
It's different.
Anyway, we'll talk about it all next week on movie night. But until then, I have been Samee Ramirez. You can find me on Twitter and Stereo at Samee Ramirez, and on Instagram at Samee Ramirez 14. Let's start with Dom. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at. Thank you for having us. And you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ on Instagram Dom_Martino_ official. Please make sure you do watch every week. We have the Anorax Entertainment podcast hosted by myself, and these two people are on there every week with me as well. So thank you guys for all the support, and I hope you do like this movie, by the way, if you go see it. So hopefully it's good to you, because none of us Samee and I didn't like it. But yeah, anyway, sorry, go ahead, Jose.
Jose, where can people find you?
Find me on all socials, Type 1 Latino, all together, all lowercase, on Stereo as well, Type 1 Latino, all lowercase, all together. Make sure to check Dom and I out. We have a podcast every Sunday, Star Wars Sundays. This week we'll be doing The Last Jedi, so tune into that, and because we're gonna be doing a deep dive review of that, so looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. And then you guys can find the show everywhere at Anorax Official. We are also now on Spotify, Anorax Entertainment Podcast. We also have a merch link, merch.streamelements.com/Anorax, if you would like to check that out. But yeah, until next week when we talk about Venom, we will see you then. Have a good night, guys. Bye.